BET, coming at you 6 nights a week.
Get your laugh on, ladies and gentlemen, at the Well. This next Saturday, August 27th, Gavin Richard at G Rich Productions presents Get Your Laugh On at the Well, 1600 Basin Street in New Orleans. We'll have featured acts such as Chief Booth, Kyron Harper, Brandon Haynes, and Terry Scott. $15 in advance, $20 at the door, and our headliner, of course, will be Mark Season, the one and only New Orleans native. You don't want to miss. Get your laugh on at the Well, ladies and gentlemen. Come on and get your laugh on. Wherever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. If you have friends, oh, I was muted and I was talking the whole time. If you have friends who are looking for a hot live stream to listen to, then hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Share it with them. Share the link in a text. Share it via email, wherever. Social media. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a good conversation tonight. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. It is Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream on social media, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight we're going to be discussing the following topics. They include DeShaun Watson's suspension extended to 11 games, hit with a $5 million fine. Also, we have this tragic story: Little League football game ends in tragedy. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, R. Kelly's second trial is underway. Yeah, underwear. It's appropriate if it's R. Kelly in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, all this and more. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Donate to the Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, and Google Pay. As you know, we are on a ban here on YouTube. Our channel has been demonetized, and YouTube has a shadow ban on this channel. So I'd appreciate if you all would still support and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And I need you to do another thing. You can support me by ordering. Shout out to my man D Bailey. You can order some Creole seasoning blends. He purchased his a few days ago. I'll be sending that out to you soon, brother. Order Noni'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Noni's goes great with every dish. Finally, also, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to our Patreon, I explained that earlier in the previous video. In the previous introduction, you can subscribe to our Patreon to support me as well. And also, you can check out our iTunes, Apple, and Amazon for Video Soul and Gotta Get On Up. So before we begin our talk with our brother Shawn James, the author of The Man Crisis, why don't we go ahead and get on up, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We'll be back in a few clicks.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. 'Cause on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop. I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on the floor, baby. Gotta get on the floor, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Random Topic Thursdays on channel G-Bluetooth 786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe, ladies and gentlemen. The place to be is right here with me. It is Random Topic Thursdays. I need you all, first and foremost, to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Share and share alike, like your parents always told you to share your toys with your siblings, even though you didn't like it. You did it anyway. I need you all to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Please share it with friends. As I've stated before, our channel is on a little bit of a shadow ban, but share it, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can, the goal, of course, is to get as many likes as possible. The goal also, and I stated before, we're going to be moving our channel actually pretty soon from YouTube because I'm really sick of this censorship BS. And the only reason why I'm doing the show is to keep you all here because I like listening to you all and I know you like the information we provide. So I appreciate that. I'm trying to get some folks into the chat and to the show right now, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go ahead and start the show and bring in our brother and guest. He is the author of several books, including The Man Crisis, as well as John Haynes series, and he is actually going to have a book released this fall called The Woman Crisis. Let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Shawn James. Greetings, Shawn.
Hi, how are you, Gavin?
I am doing fine, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good.
While I'm promoting books and so forth, I want to promote my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. And Shawn, of course, has read this book before and he loves it. And if you have not gotten it, you're missing out on some good reading. Am I right, Shawn?
It's a fantastic book, very well done.
Yes, I write books apparently that nobody likes to read because I haven't had great sale on stuff. But the book is very important. I didn't just write it to make money off of it. Well, of course I did, but that wasn't the main reason. The main reason I wrote this book was because we have seen an icon of more than 50 plus years
get torn down over allegations that frankly were bullshit because they were all based in hearsay and without evidence. And this Me Too standard has been the status in place now of innocent until proven guilty. And it's wrong. And so the book explores why we need to have trials that are tried by an impartial and fair jury rather than social media and mob justice, which never flies in this country and never has and never will, and it shouldn't. So I need you to go there, click it, get it on Kindle. And yeah, it may take up a little data, but it's better to buy it on Kindle. The book is over 200, is well over 200 pages, but it's worth it. Go ahead and do it. I'm trying to get it on published through hard copy, but I've had the darndest time for whatever reason trying to upload it and get it published through hard copy, Sean. I don't know what's going on. So I've been looking into that and I've been busy and I'm going to look into it more between tonight and tomorrow. And I'm also going to be doing a review. I'm actually going to start tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, on this. We need to talk about Cosby documentary. I know I've been talking about it for a while, but I'm actually starting on it and reviewing what I had to say because I took pictures and stuff, and I know some of you have waited on that, but we'll be getting started on that. I have a normal 9 to 5 that has taken up my time, and you know how that is, Sean.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started because I was waiting for another guest to come in because I wanted his opinion on it, and I don't know what has happened to Andrew and what he thinks of this. So maybe I should hold off on talking about that, but it was a good way to talk about Cosby. But I'll talk about this. Let's just start with this one. All right. So R. Kelly, Sean, I don't know if you know this, he has a second trial that's underway in Chicago. This is in federal court. And the R&B singer is charged and accused, of course, of sex trafficking minors and so forth, and child pornography. Now, we have always known, because it's going back since the 90s, stuff that was going on with when he married Aaliyah, that R. Kelly, some questions about him. And this video that he was tried for back in 2008, if we remembered, he was tried on child pornography charges then, but he was acquitted. So now what's going on? He's facing charges in federal court of child pornography and enticing minors. And basically, he's also facing charges now of conspiring to rig that 2008 trial by intimidating and off witnesses, and in particular, the girl in the video, supposedly the girl in the video, and her name is Jane because at the time she was 14. They don't like to identify sexual assault victims, as you may or may not know. Now, Kelly is represented by Jennifer Baljan, who is Bill Cosby's attorney. She's a hell of a lawyer. So I'm going to play this video that we have courtesy of WGN, and I'm going to play also something from Yahoo News. So we can all watch it, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. But we're also going to put a copyright disclaimer up. A copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allows for the fair use of purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, scholarship, and research. And it is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So this is not a copyright strike. YouTube, you should not be hitting me with that crap. So let's go ahead, Sean, and play this video and get started.
Graphic testimony in court today as the woman who was at the center of singer R. Kelly's 2008
child pornography trial finally takes the stand against him.
WGN's Julian Cruz has been covering this trial from the beginning and joins us now live from the Dirksen Federal Building with more. Julian?
Well, Dina and Ben, key testimony underway at this hour. The witness, now 37 years of age, described by the government as minor one. She is widely believed to have been the star witness in R. Kelly's 2008 Cook County trial, where he was acquitted. You may remember that she dropped out of testifying at the 11th hour, but now she is here in the federal courthouse in Chicago. It began with phone sex, minor one testifies, at the insistence of her legal godfather, R. Kelly, who allegedly gave her alcohol, she says. The encounters, beginning more than 20 years ago, quickly devolving into more predatory behavior. Can you tell us about the first time it became more than talk? Lead prosecutor Janice Appentang asked the witness. We were in the studio watching TV, chilling, minor one testifies. The practice sessions were over and it became rubbing and touching, she says. Where was he rubbing? Prosecutors ask. On my vaginal area and on himself. Minor one testifying that she had hundreds of sexual encounters, including threesomes, all at the behest of Kelly. The stunning testimony at R. Kelly's federal trial in Chicago, fresh off his sentencing back in June, New York jurors and a federal judge handing Kelly a 30-year prison sentence on underage sex trafficking charges. But here in Chicago, defense attorneys for the disgraced recording artist and two co-defendants pushing back, pointing to a 2000 Chicago police interview with minor one, who for the purposes of this court proceeding in Chicago goes by the pseudonym of Jane to protect her identity. Retired detective Daniel Everett asking the young Jane and her parents if Kelly was victimizing her. And she said in several different forms, no, defense attorney Bo Brindley asks Everett. Yes, that's right, Everett says. And her mother and father were present for that meeting, Brindley asks. Yes. The mother also denied it, didn't she? Yes, she did, Everett says. They all denied it could be her on the videotape. That's right, the detective says. Tremendous tension in the courtroom this afternoon in regards to R. Kelly's demeanor. He seemed to keep his eyes down, looking downward at that moment to avoid eye contact as minor one was sworn in to testify. At the Dirksen Federal Building, Julian Cruz, WGN News.
All right, thank you, Julian.
Let me share this other video I have here. Essentially the same thing.
Now, the girl who is believed to be the center of the videotape that was part of that Cook County case testified today. She's now a woman. At the time, she says she was just 15 years old. She's testifying now and telling jurors that she was the girl in that video with Robert Kelly, and that afterwards, Kelly and his employees plotted to keep her and her parents away from investigators and away from that 2008 trial. The woman who denied inappropriate sexual activity with R. Kelly for years today is testifying against the R&B star. The woman, now 37, testified under the pseudonym Jane in a federal courtroom. She testified that she was 12 or 13 when introduced to R. Kelly by her aunt. Jane said she asked Kelly to be her godfather at her aunt's suggestion, saying, "He was a person I looked up to. We had a lot in common, basketball, music. I thought it was a good idea." Jane told the jury Kelly and she began engaging in sexual activity when she was 14 and lost her virginity to him when she was 15. Jane testified that Kelly asked her to recruit her friends, who are also minors, to participate in their activities. She tearfully described some activity that Kelly recorded. She told the jury Kelly told her to keep their activity a secret and to lie to a DCFS worker investigating Kelly. Jane testified, "I was told it was important I not share our relationship with anyone because he could get in a lot of trouble," and he emphasized being loyal to him. Jane is continuing to testify at this hour. She's being questioned by prosecutors, but she will be questioned by the defense team. Specifically, Kelly's defense attorney has maintained and questioned why this young woman would be coming forward now after all these years, changing her story. We will see what happens under cross-examination. And of course, her parents are expected to testify, as well as some other women who claim they were minors when they had inappropriate contact with Kelly years ago.
All right. So that's that. Shawn, it seems, I don't think that double jeopardy in our Constitution, the way they've gotten around it is by saying he ran basically a criminal empire and conspired like they did in New York by saying he violated RICO and a Mann Act. And I believe that's what they're doing now in Chicago by trying to get him back with this, but in federal court now. Am I understanding that right?
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Now, I think we all can have a mature conversation about this without us looking like we're, and I'm not going to do a disclaimer because I think we all should be mature and know that nobody on this panel is condoning what he is accused of doing. However, we can also have an intellectual discussion and discuss why we all have to wait and see what the facts are about cases like this before we rush to judgment. Shawn?
Yeah, we definitely do need to wait for all of the evidence to come in. But what I really think here is being done is that R. Kelly, even though he's a sexual deviant and a pervert, is basically getting railroaded through the criminal justice system. And I don't really think he's getting the due process he should be receiving in our criminal justice system. It looks like they're using all sorts of technicalities to try to put this man in prison. And that's a very dangerous precedent, just like the Cosby precedent was dangerous because it took us from due process under the law to trust and believe. And in this case, we have people manipulating laws as related to this case. And this type of approach could also be used on other American citizens. So we have to look at the dangerous, slippery slope with R. Kelly. What they will do is make it, oh, he's the bad guy. And then all of a sudden, regular Americans are having these types of interpretations of law applied on them. So I'm looking at this whole case, and it's looking very suspect because they can't get him on actual charges for things he actually did. And what they're doing now is using technicalities to try to railroad him, similar to what they did to Bill Cosby, looking for ways to get him, it gets a conviction to stick. And that really is a violation, as I see it, of ethics as related to the way these guys are out here trying to prosecute these cases. This is a real serious ethical violation, as I see it, because yes, I don't like R. Kelly and what he represents, but we have to go out here and process him under the law, under crimes he actually did commit. Because once we start trying to skirt the law with these kind of technicalities, this type of approach can be used against people. And this is one of the things our founding fathers weren't against, because people were doing this during the time of King George against the colonists, creating all sorts of trumped up charges to railroad people. And that's what they look like they're doing to R. Kelly right now.
Yeah. I think my understanding, she didn't testify, and it came out, she didn't testify at his trial, what he was originally tried for back in 08. Because I remember when this was going on, and the argument by the defense attorneys was that it wasn't him on the tape. That was their defense. But then on top of that, the prosecutors could not get this victim, this alleged victim, or as we call it in our profession, if I'm a defense attorney, a complaining witness, because that's what it is, I say, or alleged victim, they could not get her to testify. And that's problematic if you can't get a victim in, because while they can still proceed with a case, if they cannot authenticate, let's say, for instance, she could not authenticate that that was her on the tape then, that's why he was acquitted. And if they subpoena you and you don't show up, well, there's nothing more that the state could do. So now the feds have taken the case. They've made it where he ran a conspiracy to try and prevent these girls or this person and others from testifying by using a RICO. I'm assuming they do the same thing in New York, which is a RICO statute. And the problem with that is, do I honestly think, or do you all think, by a show of applause, yes or no in the chat, that R. Kelly is the equivalent of John Gotti or Bugsy Siegel? Better yet, Meyer Lansky, Carlo Gambino. Do y'all think he's on that level? Because if you did that with anyone else, if you deal with R. Kelly, in fairness, other rock and roll stars could be hit with those charges as well. You think about that, Shawn?
Yeah, could hit those this type of approach to law could be used on anyone, and
Right.
that's what makes it dangerous.
I mean, look at what happened with Ray Dawn a few years ago. She came out and said that she had an affair with Mick Jagger when she was 15 years old. That's statutory rape. Where was the surviving Mick Jaggers? Where was the surviving Keith Richards? The Rolling Stones, the Secrets of the Rolling Stones, or Secrets of the Beatles? Any of these rock groups? Where's Jerry Lee Lewis's documentary? This is what the Black community is looking at, because you're putting these charges on. It's basically you're making us the face of this. And I'm not saying, again, that I condone, because nobody's saying that we support or condone what R. Kelly is accused of. And I don't think we even need to be having a waiver of it, because we should be mature to have a conversation like this. Yes, it's tough. Yes, there are women who have actually been abused. I understand that. But we also got to be adults too and confront these things. And we can have talks about them, and the conversation should always be respectful. But
One second, I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't have anything final more to say on this, but I'll just say I would like to. I invited, we're going to try and have a brother come on to talk more about this Sunday. I won't name who, but I'll make an announcement if I ever hear back from him, if we're going to have him come on Sunday, because he wanted to talk about this case in particular. But Jennifer Bongine, who is Bill Cosby's lawyer, have reached out to her previously. I'd like to reach out to her again, so she can actually come on the channel. I know she will not be able to do so while the trial is pending. Maybe she can say some things, but everybody just needs to look at what the facts are of the case, not get into emotions, not get into, yes, he did this in 2003. What he's accused, or 2000, what he's accused of is basically witness tampering. They threw that charge in, as well as, from what I'm reading in the article on Yahoo News, it's RICO as well. If it's federal charges, because child pornography possession of child pornography is not just it's a state crime and it's a federal crime. And what we have here, essentially, they went back to get him again on an old charge, but they found a way to get around it. They came out even that R. Kelly's girlfriend, who was even accusing him of stuff, supposedly is pregnant by him. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, his girlfriend came out and said she was pregnant. Fiance said she's pregnant amid the singer's sexual abuse scandal. That's Jocelyn Savage. And Jennifer Bongine said that Savage, the attorney, she said this, and I'm going to read this to you, that she is not pregnant, that she made this all up. If you read there, she says his lawyer didn't know that prior to him going to jail, she said that his lawyer didn't know that prior to him going to jail, Robin and I were doing IVF, because at that time I was told I couldn't have a baby. When he was sent to prison, we paused it and I had them freeze my eggs until I was ready. Now, Jennifer Bongine told E. Now, but here's the thing. She wrote a book, allegedly, and she puts this in the new book.
Gold digging galore. They're just going for
the book is called The Love and Joy of Robert. Now, Jocelyn Savage, if I'm not mistaken, she even walked out and said been dogging Kelly during the trial. Remember, even her parents were trying to get her from out of the tower with him and the other girlfriend.
Yeah.
Now, Jennifer Bojin denied that she was pregnant. So this is crazy. Well, it's not even crazy. That's supposed to be the baby. But she was dogging the man before that. And she met R. Kelly when she was 19. So she's not a minor at that
Nope.
point, right? You're
Nope.
not a minor. She left if I'm not mistaken, she left him. And supposedly she's engaged by him. They lived at the home, yeah. Azriel Clary and Jocelyn Savage. Or it might have been Clary that walked off. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, this whole thing is just bullshit. It's just ridiculous. Groupie, this is groupie nonsense. Like Judge Joe Brown would say, more groupie nonsense.
Yep. All of them looking for a fast dollar now that they're in their old age. They can't get nothing no more.
Well, she's a young woman still.
Yeah.
But
They washed up. She's washed up at 19.
Yeah.
If you're out here scavenging for dollars, you have no real skills. You got with these guys. You thought you were going to become a star, and all you got was turned out.
So he's basically, he's charged on conspiring to fix a trial.
How could he fix a trial? That's a critical question I got to ask. How could he fix a trial when the evidence was overwhelming? Your witness didn't testify. You have no way of really proving all of this. It's just a way to try to railroad him because you just want to get a black man and put him in prison.
Yeah, Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown, I should point out, are also his co-defendants. They're accused of helping him fix the trial. Brown is charged with receiving child pornography. And what it is that prosecutors are alleging different crimes related to minor one, including obstruction of justice for fixing the trial. Y'all can read this in the article I have here. I'm going to post it and I'm going to comment on it. We're going to move on to the next topic. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Donate to the Cash App. But what y'all think is going to happen with this R. Kelly case? Yeah, it's going to be, I think likely his lawyers have written a great response, a great appeal. Because he's not just charged with RICO, he's also charged with violating the Mann Act, and we know why that was created. The FBI, in and of itself, Shawn, was created to go after black people. That's what J. Edgar Hoover's deal was. The Mann Act was created to strip Jack Johnson of the heavyweight title. That's what all that was about, and we see how that perpetrates now. And speaking of black men going after black men, I was waiting for the man to come in, but he hasn't come in yet. Well, I tell you what, we'll save it for last. I want to talk about this tragedy that took place, this little league shooting. Shawn, I know you did a video on it, and for those that don't know what happened, apparently there was, I said little league, but it's actually youth football, I should say. And these coaches, two coaches, got into an argument, and then it led to a fight where one coach shot the other. And this happened out in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Houston, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And sadly, sadly, the man didn't make it. His name is, coach's name, I believe, is Hickman.
The coach who was shot, his name was Hickman.
The coach that was shot, his name was Hickman. Right, that's what I'm saying. The one who allegedly shot him was Yaqub Talib, who is the brother of NFL star Aqib Talib, retired NFL star Aqib Talib. And this is some footage we have from Fox 4. This was also live streamed, Shawn, when this happens.
The search is on for whomever shot and killed a local father and a 7-year-old believed to be his son at a family-friendly youth football game in Arlington.
This was in Arlington. I apologize. In Arlington. I'd said Houston. But we're going to play a clip of that. I need someone to please, 27-year-old father, by the way, who had 2 children. And I need you all to hit the like, share, and subscribe button, but we're going to put the copyright disclaimer up. But this happened, and just a warning, I don't think it actually shows the actual shooting, but you can see what happens here.
Is Arlington Heights Elementary School. And we're going to flip you back this way to show you where all the action was. I spoke with the man who manages this park. He says when the shooting happened, the 2 teams were on the 7-yard line, right there, and you had bystanders on each side of the field. Thankfully, more people weren't hit.
This was a highly anticipated game, man.
A kids' football game ruined by gunfire.
Out of the game, and somebody's shooting.
You can hear 4 shots on this coach's live stream. The children laying down on the ground to stay safe. This shooting just yards away from the teams and spectators. Some who saw a man and his son shot on the road just outside the fence.
And then you see the little boy, he on the ground. He shot, dad shot.
That's tough to see.
Yeah.
This was in North Star.
One man who asked us not to show his face says his 22-year-old nephew tried to save the father.
You know
using
what?
his.
I apologize, y'all. This is the wrong video. My mistake. I just looked at the date. I thought it was there. Yeah, I was like Arlington County. Wait, yeah, this was out in Texas. So that's a different video. But this is, okay, so this is from WFAA. Now, they're saying that Aqib Talib, the cornerback who's played for the Denver Broncos, actually was the one that instigated the fight. And Mike Hickman was the gentleman, sadly, who was killed, slain at this youth football game. So let's play this video from WFAA ABC.
He turned himself in today so that he could start the process of telling his side of the story.
This is video of Yaqub Talib getting booked into the Dallas County Jail Monday after police obtained a murder warrant for his arrest.
He wanted to turn himself in from the start, but he wanted a chance to talk to his lawyers first.
That's Talib's attorney, Clark Birdsall.
Mr. Talib feels terrible for the loss of life.
Lancaster police said the deadly shooting happened before 9 p.m. Saturday at a preseason Pee Wee football game between the North Dallas United Bobcats and the DEA Dragons. We're told Talib coached for the Bobcats. The victim, Mike Hickman, coached for the Dragons. Witnesses told investigators there was a disagreement between the opposing coaches over calls made by the officials. Video posted to social media shows several adults getting angry and then things getting physical on the field before you hear several gunshots being fired. The 43-year-old Hickman died at the hospital. Lancaster police say they identified Talib as the shooter.
He feels terrible the whole thing happened, but I think there are some heavy defensive overtones to what happened out there on that playing field, and in time, that'll all come out.
When I asked Birdsall if he'd share Talib's side of the story,
no, I'll just leave it at what I've said there.
Documents show Talib was arrested for possession of a firearm by a felon and marijuana in May 2021. Talib is also the brother of former NFL cornerback Aqib Talib, who Birdsall told me was at Saturday's game too, a game that left former UNT star Hickman dead.
WFAA has obtained new video of the shooting, but they don't know the full story.
And when I asked how much longer until we'll know the full story,
I couldn't say right now.
In Dallas, I'm Ariel Placencia.
Pastors are used to dealing with news, good and bad. But the call Pastor James Hutchins took this week.
All right. Now, that was the video you saw. Now, here's the actual video of the shooting that took place. It is graphic. You don't actually see the person get killed. However, you know that something bad has happened, obviously, that there was a life that was taken. And let me just do this because
My dude got.
that's supposed to be a key to lead.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Jesus! Jesus!
Now they stopped the video there. Darlene Love and her lack of Darlene Love, the singer. What are you talking about? At any rate, no, we're talking about this shooting that took place out in Texas, babe. You heard his lawyer speak, Shawn. You saw what happened. I saw you did a video on this. I'm sure your opinion will remain the same.
Yeah, when I saw that, when I heard about this story, I was deeply saddened by it because the children were the one who were impacted the most by this.
Right.
This whole incident was because one of these men, Talib, couldn't really show an example of manhood to these young boys. Now, your youth football is supposed to be a place where boys are supposed to learn character. And sadly, your Talib really didn't have the character to be a coach, because one of the things a coach has to do is to be able to navigate through their emotions. And while they have feelings about a call that they believe is unfair, they don't act impulsively, about what they're seeing on the field. And they don't act impulsively because they want to set an example to those young boys about how a man deals with conflict. And sadly, this Talib, as related to the allegations of what transpired on that field, did not know how to problem solve, and he did not know how to conflict resolve. And this is, from what I've heard from some of my viewers, that this was a problem with his brother in the NFL, and it was a problem with the family for some time. And this is what happened in this case, is that he didn't know how to conflict resolve and just say, look, okay, the officials made the call. I'm going to accept the call. I'm going to take the L, and I'm going to keep it moving.
It's a freaking peewee game.
Yeah,
you're going to go be violent? Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
And I'm still trying to wonder, what are you doing with a loaded firearm at a child's football game? I mean, I look at that part of it, and it's quite scary to me. Here you have a grown man who is supposed to be, again, a coach, supposed to be presenting an example of manhood to children, and he's got a loaded weapon with him at a game. I mean, that really, to me, was quite troubling, because what type of example of manhood is he setting for those boys? I mean, he's sitting there with a firearm that could have possibly gone off at this game and hurt somebody at that game. But what was even more tragic is he took out this firearm and used it on this other coach, all because a official made a call he disagreed with. Again, showing me how deeply dysfunctional this male is, and how he was not fit to go out here and mentor young men, because in his role as a coach, he didn't really understand that about what it meant to be a coach. And that was one of the things that really upset me about this whole case. He's in a position of power and leadership, and he doesn't understand his responsibility to these children and to them as related to character. He gets upset about a football game that at the end of the day means nothing at the end of the day to anyone, because the whole point of the game was supposed to be about teaching character to these young boys. And while he taught them was, if ever you get upset, go take out a loaded firearm and hurt the person who's disagreeing with you. And that is textbook beta male behavior, like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And this guy just basically showed us how dangerous he was as related to not being able to conflict resolve, how to critically think, and how to go out here and work through his emotions. Because yes, you may have, again, the feelings about what happens with that call, but you should not be acting impulsively to hurt other people because a call in a game didn't go your way. So when I look at this guy, I mean, he wants to sit there and make it look like he's turning himself in. Well, he wouldn't have had to have turned himself in if he had walked away and showed sportsmanship when he was on that field and just accepted whatever call the officials made and just moved on.
the problem is too is that these children are going to be traumatized by what they
Yeah.
saw, and you have three adults, the Talib brothers in particular, because I remember when Aqib Talib used to play in the NFL. I remember when he poked Michael Crabtree in the eye. I remember he had a habit of doing stuff like that. He would rip the gold chain off Michael Crabtree's neck. I mean, he was a great cornerback.
But he wasn't a man of character.
No, he was an asshole.
His conduct was extremely unsportsmanlike.
Right. He had a lot of issues. And, it's coming apparent now, especially if he's involved in that. I'm surprised they didn't charge him with anything. But, in general rule, they're all innocent until proven guilty. I don't know what defenses they'll make, but all of this, was it all necessary, even so, that you had to get into a fight over a call? The Saints have had some bad calls. We didn't go out and shoot up the NFL headquarters, even though we knew they were screwing us and so forth, screwing the team. We've always had to deal with that. There's a better way you can handle that with violence. And Knight Rider said is a convicted felon in possession of a firearm, Aqib's brother.
I don't know.
Yaqib was now Talib had aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He had a felony warrant for his arrest. He was accused of firing a gun at his sister's boyfriend, and he was released on a $25,000 bond. And the charge was back in May of 2011 when he was indicted. However, the charges were dropped because there were credibility concerns over the accuser and insufficient evidence. And this was in June of 2012. So I don't know too much about him being a convicted felon. Someone said he is, but you can look it up. It's easy to prove if he has felony convictions right there. If he's a felon in possession of a firearm, that's automatic time. He's gonna get at least 10 years for that. If that's the case, I don't know what it is in Texas, the penalties, but in Louisiana, it'd be something like that.
Asking for more security and more police at youth football games after what happened in Lancaster when a beloved coach was shot and killed.
Police say Coach Mike Hickman was killed after a dispute over the score of a youth football game. There is video of the shooting, which happened in front of children and their parents. The suspect, Yaqib Talib, is in jail. Community advocates with urban specialists and other community groups say they want more security at games that would include hiring police officers instead of security guards, instituting a search policy, banning weapons on the field, and provide counseling and conflict resolution training for coaches, parents, and athletes. They say what happened Saturday in Lancaster was a senseless act of violence.
So many of the kids who were at the event that took place on Saturday witnessed something that they will never be able to unsee. And many of those issues could have been resolved had the adults there knew how to resolve conflict.
Meanwhile, the investigation continues
That's
into
the
the
problem,
shooting.
the
Sources
adults.
say police interviewed witnesses today about what led up to the
Now
shooting.
look at the gun
Multiple
there.
witnesses say it was Aqib Talib, the former NFL cornerback, who instigated and escalated the fight.
Resolved had the adults there knew how to resolve conflict.
Meanwhile, the investigation
look, he's swinging
continues
the
into the
stick.
shooting. Sources say police interviewed witnesses today about what
Now
led
look
up
at the guy with you see the gun right there.
to the shooting.
My goodness.
Multiple witnesses say it was Aqib Talib, the former NFL cornerback, who instigated and escalated the fight. He is seen on the video right next to his brother, who's accused of the killing of Coach Hickman. In Dallas, I'm Rebecca Lopez, who's accused, is seen on the video right next to his brother.
I think that was Talib around there.
Seen on the video right next to his brother, who's accused of the killing of Coach Hickman. In Dallas, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
Oh, goodness. Rest in peace to Mike Hickman, North Green football out in Texas, who died senselessly over this. North Texas football. Former fullback. So Yaqub Talib has been charged with murder, and Hickman was 43 years old. He died obviously at the scene. It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Well, I don't think one thing for sure, Talib is not going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Nope. He's just, they're not going to get there with that violence that they participated in.
Well, I mean, Marvin Harrison has been accused of allegedly of murder, and he got in, so he could be. Dave Matthews said, "Does America need to become Japan and ban guns?" No, this is not a gun problem. This was a man problem. See, I saw this earlier today on the Isaiah Factor where they talked about someone brought up the fact we need to have gun control and all this to protect our children. Your children are being killed in schools where it's automatically known. It's known that it's a gun-free zone. You cannot bring a firearm, not even on a sidewalk, when you're walking on a public sidewalk by a school.
You know, because we have all this legislation that is related to guns, but we still have beta males who just don't know how to conflict resolve, and that's the problem.
This is right. It's societal. It's a societal issue. It's a moral issue. That's a problem. People don't respect each other anymore. People don't believe in the law. People don't believe in God. That's why this man is dead. It has nothing to do with a firearm. I carry concealed all the time. I can tell you there was nothing that would make me that angry that I would pull a gun and kill another human being unless you did something to me that was threatening my life or the life of my family of some nature of that. But over a football game, and you're going to lose. And really now what's going to happen, Shawn, and the downside of this is that although of course, more sympathy goes to the victim, which is Mr. Hickman, you're going to have two families now that are going to be impacted forever. Talib's family, Mr. Hickman's family. Mr. Hickman's family will never see their father again. They'll never see their brother, their son, ever again. His daughter will never be able to be walked down the aisle when she gets married by her father. His son, you never see his son graduate. Those are things he's going to get missed. Seeing grandchildren. And here, Talib, he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life. And meanwhile, his children are going to grow up without a father because he did something stupid. Allegedly. I only say alleged as a lawyer.
Yeah, because we don't have a conviction yet.
We don't have a conviction yet, but he says there are defenses. I don't know what those defenses are. His attorney was saying we'll just have to wait and find out. But I saw the gun on the video. I mean, it was clear that he pulled this weapon out. Why he did it? If you're trying to say he reached for your gun or something like that, I don't know what defenses he would make. But this man, to my knowledge, didn't have a firearm, and he had a stick. But yeah, the impact, you're absolutely right, Donald. We're talking about this. The children will never be, as the guy pointed out in the video, the children will never be able to unsee that. So how do we fix something like this? How do they prevent stuff like this? Well, first off, this is rare. We got to, and this doesn't happen all the time. And then on top of that, you also have to realize is that while I've heard they talk about parents should be banned from some of these practices, these were coaches that were going at it. I don't know how you necessarily will ban a parent from practice since they're the ones that make the teams go. They're the ones that okay their kids for this. They pay to have their children sign up. They pay for their equipment to join these leagues. So I don't think that's the solution. If you want to have security there, they talked about police officers. That's fine, but you know, Shawn, it's going to cost money to have police officers there, just like it would cost money for security. You know. So that might be a solution there. You know, it's a shame you're going to want to search people at a game or so forth, at a pee-wee game at that. But maybe that might be something they have to do. I personally think they need to have police officers there, uh, or sheriff's deputies present to monitor situations like this. And you need, especially for an event like that, they should have had at least 4 deputies
Yeah.
that were present that would have been monitoring everything. 4 to 6 that would control the that would have immediately made an arrest on this one. Yeah, I saw it. So I don't know what defense he's gonna make. Sorry about that. That's the old lady texting me. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm off my rhythm. Yeah, but I rest in peace to Coach Hickman. Shout out to him and his family. This was just senseless. Last topic, I was waiting for my other guest. He didn't show up, Shawn, but
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's all right. DeShaun Watson's suspension has been extended to 11 games, and he has to pay a $5 million fine. You know, the NFL was looking to increase the penalties on DeShaun Watson, and Watson, of course, has been accused by multiple women of sexual misconduct, assault, not rape, but saying he got too touchy-feely. And you already have people saying that, and I'm going to show all of this, but Watson did a press conference. He also released a statement, and I'm going to show you the statement. I'm also going to show you videos from the press conference. The owner of the Cleveland Browns, as well as the general manager, they said they're comfortable with bringing DeShaun Watson back. I mean, at this point, Shawn, I don't think there's anything, and you all know this, there are going to be people who, well, first, let me hold that thought. I'm going to read the statement, and then I'm going to play the video. Hold on one second. This is the statement from DeShaun Watson. He said the following. He said, I am grateful that the disciplinary process has ended and extremely appreciative of the tremendous support I have received throughout my short time with the Browns organization. I apologize once again for any pain this situation has caused. I take accountability for decisions that I have made. My focus going forward is on working to become the best version of myself on and off the field and supporting my teammates however possible while I'm away from the team. I'm excited about what the future holds for me in Cleveland. As you know, Brown had 24 civil lawsuits filed against him, and he settled with the NFL on an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine. However, he made the following statement at a press conference after he released this statement and said the following, and I'm going to play that video for you all right now. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, thank you, Cheryl, for your donation to the Cash App. You all listen to this press conference. And I'm
Second time I spoke to you guys. First off, I want to say, I'm very grateful for the NFL and the NFLPA for this disciplinary process to be, to a close and to an ending and have some clarity. And I'm looking forward to just moving forward with my career and being able to get back on the field as soon as possible. But that's the plan, is to continue to grow as a person and individual and keep pushing forward.
What made it 11 games? How did we get there to 11 games, $5 million?
Personally, I'm not sure. That was what the legal side and NFLPA did. My main focus was to come here each and every day and be the best teammate and player I could be.
Hey, DeShaun, why did you wait so long until after the to apologize for what you did?
Well, I apologized beforehand. I think the second time I spoke to you guys, I actually apologized. But I think for some people, it didn't maybe register as I was apologizing. But I just wanted to clarify. I was apologizing to all women and people that was affected about this situation, because it's it's definitely a tough situation.
Could you, Shawn, how did you go? Shawn, how did you go from "I've done nothing wrong, I've never disrespected any woman" to settling so many of these lawsuits and now agreeing to this discipline? How did you get from that point to this?
Well, I've always been able to stand on my innocence, and I've always been able to sit here and. Sorry, you want to?
Do you care? Thank you.
I've always stood on my innocence and always said that I've never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand on that. But at the same time, I have to continue to push forward with my life and my career. And for us to be able to move forward, I have to be able to take steps and put pride to the side. And I'm going to continue to stand on my innocence and keep pushing forward. And I've always, stood on not disrespecting or sexual assaulting anyone.
What are you apologizing for then? What are you apologizing for?
For everyone that was affected about this situation, there was a lot of people that was triggered.
But not the women that accused you of this?
I've apologized to all women. So anybody that was affected, even yourself, everything. So I'm apologizing to everyone that was affected about this whole situation.
So DeShaun, was this more about moving on with your career than contrition from your point of view? This resolution, the settlements, the disciplinary process, settling that? Is that all about just trying to move forward for you?
Everything, just my whole life, just have to be able to move forward, and that's the plan. I have to be able to move forward with my career, move forward with my family, with my personal life, and everything.
Counseling that you have to go to if you don't, feel like if you stand on your innocence the way that you do, what can you accomplish by the counseling and treatment?
I have to grow as a person. I have to be able to communicate and talk with people. I have to continue to, know each and every situation, so I don't put myself back in the situation I was just in. So I have to continue to just grow as an individual. My whole outlook of just myself as a football player, but also as an individual, as a human being.
So that's part of the press conference. I'm not going to play all of it, but if you look at the Cleveland Browns owners, they even had a press conference today. They basically said they were comfortable with DeShaun Watson, and I'm going to show for you, first and foremost, what.
Okay, a few brief comments, and then we'll take questions.
What white America thinks.
I think we said from the outset that it was really important for the Cleveland Browns to honor the agreement between the Players Association and the NFL, and to, no matter what the outcome is or was, to respect that. And so we're going to do that. And we're not going to comment on anything Judge Sue Robinson said or her decision, nor are we going to comment on anything Commissioner Goodell said, because we don't think that's appropriate. At the same time, I think we as an organization realize how sensitive this is, how emotional it is to all kinds of different people, how a lot of people have been affected by this situation, and we take that very seriously. Since DeShaun came into our building in April, he has done everything we have asked of him and more. And he has been the person, the leader that we expected him to be. I think he understands where he is in his life. It's a pivotal point. And we as an organization are going to do everything we can to help him not only be the best football player he can be, but more importantly, to be the best person he can be. And we're going to support him in every way possible during the suspension and during what will hopefully be a long career with the Cleveland Browns. I also think it's important to remember that we've got a lot of other really good football players that are going to practice today at 2 o'clock against the Eagles. Today and tomorrow play an exhibition game, and in about 2.5 weeks kick it off against Carolina. And we have a talented team. We have confidence in Jacoby Brissett, and we're looking forward to going forward. Jimmy, so with that, we'll take some questions.
Right.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just want to say that we have, as an organization, we have, and as individuals, we have tremendous empathy for the women involved. And we have an opportunity now to make a difference in this community. We're going to invest $1 million to go towards educating youth for awareness of sexual misconduct. So we're going to work.
Okay, let me stop it right there. Now that's Jimmy and Dee Haslam. They are the owners of the Cleveland Browns, and that's Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry, is the, I believe he's the general manager of the Browns, right? And let me tell you, okay, several problems I have with this. Number one, if I were DeShaun Watson, I would have just kept my mouth shut. I wouldn't have said anything because I would have just taken it, said, I'm glad this is over. I'll see my team in 3 months, and that's it. I wouldn't have released any statement, or at least had my attorneys, his attorney, Rusty Harding, who's a good attorney, I would have had him release a statement. I don't know if he's still represented by Rusty, but when he released the statement, the written statement, he said he apologized. Then he says, and he takes responsibility for his actions. Then in the press conference, as you saw, Shawn, he takes responsibility. He said he's innocent. Now, what I was saying earlier, and I stopped myself, he got 11-game suspension. It was 6 originally. They gave him 11 games and a $5 million fine they agreed with, right? So, but here's the problem, and I'm about to show it to you. And I'm going to go back to Ms. Haslam's comments, right? Look here. If you look right here, I'm sorry, I'm trying to say it. But Pro Football Talk, they have been dogging him all day. I mean, Mike Florio has written this, and I've been on Mike Florio's ass. I want you to look at this. He writes, a full DeShaun Watson season suspension of DeShaun Watson. A full season DeShaun Watson suspension may have been better for the Browns. He said it would have been bad for Browns quarterback DeShaun Watson to have been suspended for the full season. It arguably wouldn't have been quite so bad for the Browns. They say it doesn't toll his contract. So no matter what he got, I can assure you, here's my thing with Mike Florio. He would have still said a full season wasn't enough. I'm confident he wouldn't.
Special edition of PFTOT, Miles Simmons, Mike Florio, here for as long as we need to break down the significant.
He writes again, did DeShaun Watson, look at what he's writing. Did DeShaun Watson dupe the NFL into thinking he was accepting responsibility? First and foremost, he has not been convicted of any charge, correct? So he has not even been arrested for anything. So in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. Am I right?
Yeah.
So he has not been charged, he's not been convicted, and yet you want him to accept responsibility for something. And I don't know all of the facts of the case. I've watched some of the things. I've listened to and read Seuss Robinson's report. What she wrote in there. And yes, there have been depositions taken, but you have to remember something. When you file a lawsuit against an individual like I have, when you do civil filings and so forth, there is a lower burden of proof than in a criminal court room that you have. There's the burden of proof is preponderance of the evidence if you're in civil court, civil litigation, and if you're in criminal litigation, that means the burden is on the prosecutor to prove the elements of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And if they are unable to do that, then that person has to be acquitted. At a civil proceeding, that is not the case. The burden is so low. So he didn't have to have amount. It didn't have to be that much, especially under NFL policy, because their violation of their policy is preponderance of the evidence. So it didn't take much. But this is why I've really fallen off with the NFL, because they don't give a damn about black folks. The stuff look at what happened with Jay-Z. That whole thing was a setup. Jay-Z wasn't doing shit with that. Ice Cube proved it a couple of months ago when he tried to do stuff with the NFL. I don't think Mike Florio spent the day in the courtroom. He certainly hasn't done, I don't think he's done motions practice. No, are we forgetting about Chad Wheeler? When Chad Wheeler beat the crap out of his girlfriend, they don't talk about him. No. Now, Chad Wheeler obviously is not DeShaun Watson. He's not a quarterback. He's not a, he's a special teams and defensive player. But nevertheless, the spotlight was not on him. But getting back to, now I pointed this out, I want to get back to the owner of the Cleveland Browns. She said they were going to raise money and give money to raise awareness to children about sexual misconduct. What you have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, when she makes...
Work really hard on prevention, and we're looking forward to getting involved and getting started on that.
First, okay, they want them to do this. This is all a ploy for the demographics of the NFL. The NFL now, the merchandise, the NFL is watched more by men. However, all NFL merchandise now, it's been, and I showed you this article before, it's been growing in recent years because women are the biggest consumers of NFL merchandise. You aware of that, Shawn?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, at this point, it's actually, last I checked, they were about, in 2022, there were about 47% or 46% of NFL consumers. Of all of the gear that they've bought and purchased, it's raised this game. Yeah. It says 46% of official NFL merchandise. All right. So when you have someone accused of domestic violence, someone accused of sexual assault, it's natural, so they don't alienate a large consumer base to try to appeal to that base. And that's what I think happened here. That's what not what I think, that's what I know happened here. I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to stand on it, Skip, because that's what Shannon Sharp would do. Yeah, the NFL has softened in the last 20 years. But you see that there, 43, they account for 43% of NFL fans, 46% of NFL merchandise purchases. They also state here that sales of women's NFL apparel have tripled in the last 4 years. That was from 2013 in Business Week. Of the NFL's, now this is old, but as of 2013, the NFL's 185 million fans, 45% are women. So that's a large part, although men are still your largest consumers, are still the largest consumers and supporters of the NFL. That is still a large chunk of change. And yeah, I think Roger Goodell is a simp too. But they gave Goodell all of this power. So let's not forget also what happened with Ray Rice. Remember what happened with Ray Rice in 2014 when Ray Rice hit his then fiance in that elevator and he dragged her out of the elevator? You remember that security video that went live and they actually didn't have the footage inside the elevator, Shawn?
Yeah.
They suspended him for 2 games and he actually told the NFL what he did. He didn't lie about it. But what happened is that when the video went viral, when TMZ got it and ran it on Monday. On that Monday, which was the NFL, according to Deion Sanders, that was the press day for the NFL, their biggest press day. They released that video, and as a result of that, they stopped talking. They were actually in 2014. Let's not forget what was happening around that time. We had the Ferguson riots. Mike Brown. Remember that? We
Yeah.
stopped talking about that. Then it became talking about domestic violence. And Ray Rice lost his career because of that. His wife what people are forgetting is that the woman he hit, first and foremost, there were several factors in that. From number one, they both were intoxicated. She was drinking. She spat on him. He spat on her. Yes, he assaulted her, which was wrong. He shouldn't have done that because that's the mother of your child. That's your girl. You don't do that. But we live in a society, and you even know this, Shawn, being an author, that doesn't allow women to act ratchet for being accountable. Two. Now, I'm not trying to say that, and I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to justify touching or punching a woman. That's not what I am saying. What I am saying is that society, culture has made it clear that something women can, like, and I'll give you an example. When I say they can't be held accountable, society is saying that. Look at what happened with Solange and Jay-Z. When Solange was slapping Jay-Z around, she committed assault. She committed battery. Yes, she's smaller than Jay-Z, obviously, but still, are you supposed to put your hands on anybody? The way that the law reads is that it doesn't say battery is harmful or offensive contact with a woman. It says harmful or offensive contact with a person. I have domestic abuse battery cases I've had to defend before that involved women. Those happen. So, and most domestic abuse cases actually involve the police. Police officers, actually, according to the statistics, Shawn. But
yeah,
I'm tying all of this in for a reason. This is a simp move. They're appealing to the feminist crowd. DeShaun Watson is the latest byproduct of that. I listened to Rick Eisen talking shit about the fact that, this guy doesn't get it and all of this stuff. What is he saying? I'm like, I saw at first I thought this was all crazy, but then when you see the depositions, then when you see this, then you see that, he didn't get, he doesn't get it. Well, what do you want him to get? If the court of law says no charges, what can Roger Goodell do but what they have done? Have we forgotten that principles of this country? Why they say innocent until proven guilty? This is the stuff that turns you off about the NFL. And you notice on these talk shows, they don't have someone like yours truly, who's got experience in the courtroom, to give their opinion and take on why this is what it is. It's to appeal to a certain demographic. Shawn?
Yeah, this whole thing is basically, again, yes, that's to pander to all of those feminists and all of those white women who watch the NFL. And basically, what your Roger Goodell and the owners of the Cleveland Browns want to do is they want to make it look like they're going to do something about DeShaun Watson, and they want to make an example out of him. They want to basically say that if a man supposedly acts against a woman, they will go out here and punish that man to the fullest extent of their business policies. Now, what's interesting here is that your DeShaun Watson was not charged with any crime. In fact, a grand jury declined to prosecute DeShaun Watson for a crime. But the NFL wants to turn DeShaun Watson into a convicted criminal in their court of opinion. And they basically did this in their own whole first punishment, saying that DeShaun Watson allegedly participated in a sexual assault, even though a criminal court said that no such action transpired. And I found that to be disturbing from the NFL, because you're convicting this man of a crime that is supposed to be something a prosecutor should do, but you're going to go out here and convict this man based on your own opinions, not based on the court of law. And when the original judgment comes from an arbitrator, you don't want to accept their judgment of 5 games and a fine. No, you want to make it even bigger so that you can try to appeal to these women and try to make it look like things are so fair. But we can see how racist the NFL truly is, because you have this big punishment you want to give a black man like DeShaun Watson for a crime he did not commit. Meanwhile, your Ben Roethlisberger gets off light, and your Chad Wheeler, nobody even talks about him at all. And that again shows the double standard here as related to the NFL, as related to race. Moreover, we see that they are also racist, because the whole reason why we have this whole DeShaun Watson scandal is because the NFL did not like the idea of a black man demanding a trade. Now, the main reason why I believe DeShaun Watson is being punished as related to everything here is because he had the audacity to go out here and demand to be traded from the mediocre Houston Texans, where he thought he would be able to get a ring and build his career, to go someplace else where he would have an opportunity to go to a playoff team and basically make more money. And the owners of the NFL slave plantation didn't like the idea of the uppity slave, DeShaun Watson, going out here and making a demand of them. And this is what they wanted to do, was punish him for this with these allegations of sexual assault. And then when that all blew up in their face, then they saw everything not going their way. They create more rules, which shows us how white supremacist the NFL is, and how it's all I'm white and I say so. And that's basically what this punishment is. And your DeShaun Watson, he just wants to move on. But I hate to break it to DeShaun, you're never gonna be able to move on, because the white supremacists, once they get their hooks into you, they're gonna keep things going, because the only thing that they want from DeShaun Watson is either him in the grave or him completely broken under their heel, because they want to make an example of DeShaun Watson to the other players of what happens to you when you defy the owners of the NFL slave plantation. This is why Colin Kaepernick was not playing for years, because he demanded a trade. And what the NFL owners want to do is basically tell these players that you're nothing but a buck on our plantation, and the bucks don't get to tell the master where they want to go and what they want to do. And if a buck goes out here and makes demands, that buck will be broken. And that's what they're trying to do to DeShaun Watson, as they pander to the white misses who watch the NFL. And the white misses are pleased because they're seeing a buck being broken right in front of them for having the audacity to stand up and say that he's a man, make demands as related to being a man, as related to his economic future, and being a man who is going to demand a trade. And what those white women are getting their jollies on is seeing this black man be buck broken right before their eyes, because now this black man won't be able to play 3/4 of the games for the Browns, and he won't be able to make any of the money. So this is about breaking a black man in front of us. This is about buck breaking a black man, and white women getting the satisfaction of seeing a black man broken before their eyes. So this is all that's going on the NFL slave plantation. And it tells me that this isn't a sport I would want to be a part of, because this sport isn't about empowering black men. It's about making them slaves.
And let me point out something I noticed too. I had a chance to watch some clips of the deposition, and the lawyer had even asked him, isn't it strange you would go into a massage parlor to get a rub down from strangers? I'm like, that's what everybody who goes to a massage parlor does the first time, or even afterwards. You don't know, duh. Just like going to get a haircut. If you move to a new city and you get a barber, you get a new barber. You don't throw one out.
Nope. So
The hell is it?
What they're trying to do is break this man.
And let's just read this. Florio wrote this. He says the evaluation and treatment, that's part of the agreement that Watson made, should include frank, direct questions for Watson as to whether he truly accepts responsibility for his behavior, whether he acknowledges that he engaged in nonviolent sexual assault. Judge Robinson found that his categorical denial wasn't truthful. She also found that his claim that he had never gotten an erection during a massage was flat out false, given that multiple massage therapists who vouched for him acknowledged that he became aroused during massages they provided to him. That's why we shouldn't assume Watson automatically will be back in week 13 at Houston. If and when the person providing him with evaluation and/or treatment plays the video from today's press conference and Watson doesn't have a pervasive explanation for his decision to insist on his innocence, it's possible that Watson won't receive the appropriate certification to return and play. It's not some small issue. As noted by Scheffner, the league viewed Watson's apology from last Friday as an important first step. Today, he took 3 steps back. Our guess, if he doesn't make a clear and unequivocal public statement of responsibility before week 13, there's a chance he won't be playing for the Browns when they visit the Texans. Isn't this this racist motherfucker? You're saying all of this stuff about this man, and he ain't been charged with one crime.
He's never been charged.
If he has a right to, if he wants to insist on his innocence, that's his right. He has a legal right to do so. Yeah, fuck ESPN. I stopped watching. I stopped rocking with ESPN long ago, especially since they got Stephen Coon Smith. I don't watch First Take no more. I don't even watch First Things First or Undisputed that much with Shannon Sharp. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Black people, black families, we need to consider sending, if your kids gonna play football, if that's what they want, fine. But we need to consider sending them to some HBCUs. Although HBCUs, I know how messed up they are. They messed up, but I mean, and they may not provide the same exposure like PWIs, but yeah. They won't pull up DeShaun Watson's transcript in a police report how the women offered special to DeShaun Watson. It's about the agenda. Maximus, give me a copy. Can you give me a copy of the police reports and the transcript? We're going to go over it. Because I need you to get it to me tonight if you could. If you got it, I might look for it myself. But if you can, you got my email address. Because if my guest comes on Sunday, and I hope he does, we can talk about this. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. Shawn, do you have any final words? Is that it?
I was just, again, deeply disappointed by this ruling because, again, it shows that that there's no real rules at the NFL except I'm white and I say so, because you had an arbitrator punish DeShaun Watson, but that wasn't enough for the NFL. And it just shows us how white supremacy practically rules the NFL, and there's no real law as related to them, and how arbitrary their policies are, especially as they're related to black men.
Yeah. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We're going to wrap this up. Well, before I do that, perhaps we can take a phone call. What do you think, Shawn?
If you want to.
I'll take a phone call. Number is 504-656-6760. Phone line is open. In the meantime, while we're waiting on a caller, Shawn, go ahead and tell us what your live stream is going to be about tomorrow.
Well, my live stream might be a follow-up to a video I did this week debunking this ridiculous Psychology Today article where they say that when men are out here and they're lonely and single. I'm possibly going to do a follow-up to that because I've got a bit more talking points I want to discuss regarding that really ridiculous article.
I also want you to do something too, Shawn. Why don't you talk about, in your next video, the She-Hulk TV series?
Well, I'm planning a review of it, so.
Oh, did you see the episode yet?
I haven't seen it yet, but somebody sent me a donation to watch another Disney project, so I have a month of Disney Plus, so I can take a look at a few of the episodes. And if you guys want me to do a whole review of the series, you can drop a donation to the Cash App to pay for the Disney Plus for next month.
I saw it. Barbecue. Let's just put it that way. Have you've obviously being a comic book fan, you've read the She-Hulk series?
Yeah, I bought it back in '89, was in high school. And I have the original She-Hulk #1 from my brother's collection.
All right. Just a question. I don't want to give it away. I don't know if we'll give it away if I ask this, but She-Hulk in the comic book series, from what I'm reading, she has powers like the Hulk, but she's not as strong as the Hulk. Am I right?
Yes.
Does she hate? Does she in the series? She's heterosexual.
Yes.
Right. But but I mean, does she? Do you want me to tell you just a little bit, or you want to go ahead and see it?
I'll go take a look at it.
Okay. I can't wait.
Am I taking this to the barbecue?
I think you will. I mean, I've heard reviews about it and they were bad, but I want to see it for myself. And you know how Marvel is right now.
Yeah.
They're pushing an agenda. And there is I'll tell you this much, there's a feminist agenda in it, clearly.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be taking this one to the barbecue.
Yeah. And She-Hulk, actually, I think she's listed as what, like one of the sexiest comic book characters.
Yeah, she is.
And she's attractive.
Yeah.
Right. And she is a lawyer in the comic book. I follow some stuff about it, but yeah, it's. I'll leave it at that. Well, Shawn, nobody has called in. Nobody has said anything. So I guess we can wrap it up if nobody had a comment. Why don't you tell us also, Shawn, about where the next books that can come? The Woman Crisis coming this fall. You have this exact month?
Yes, The Woman Crisis will be coming this fall. I'm getting closer to finishing the editing on The Woman Crisis. We're in the second draft right now, and I'm hoping to get this book together and ready soon. So everybody look out for The Woman Crisis. Ads might be coming sooner rather than later. And I'm hoping that this book will be just as helpful to women as The Man Crisis was helpful to men.
All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you all can go to Amazon.com and actually order your books from Shawn James, like The Man Crisis, as well as the John Haynes series. Also, please support me by buying my book on Amazon Kindle. If anybody wants to purchase the book, I can actually send you a PDF version of it if you donate and give me $10. $10 for the book. Donate to the Cash App at the bottom. I can send you a PDF. That way you can look at it. You don't have to just download it through Amazon. So, Shawn, I don't have too much further to say. I appreciate you coming on here as always. Ladies and gentlemen, we get to do this every Thursday. Again, you can go to Amazon Kindle and get the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. Subscribe to @CommonwealthCos for updates about the book. Also, order your Creole seasoning blend, Noni'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Noni's goes great with every dish. Apparently, Shawn likes it on his turkey burgers.
Yeah, I also put it on hamburgers as well. Beef burgers get a nice kick.
Yes. You can go to the Patreon as well. I'm going to actually upload tonight some comedy videos I have. And speaking of comedy, buy Stop Simping in Cyberspace for Shawn as well. Speaking of comedy, I will have a comedy show, as you all know, that is coming up on Saturday, August 27th. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Get Your Laugh On at the Well on August 27th. Tickets are $15. We have the show at the door is $20. I need to see my people there on August 27th. You're going to support and rock out for your boy, Gavin Richard. We got Chubu, Kyron Hargrove, Brandon Haynes, Terry Scott, and our headliner, Mr. Mark Caesar. He's going to rock the house, ladies and gentlemen. They're all going to rock the house. So I need you all, if you are in the New Orleans area, you got to come out to this show and enjoy. Be there or be what, Shawn?
Square.
That's right. So come on out, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun night. Wow, I can't wait. We always have a good time. The Well is a great place. I'm got a lot coming up, too. I'm actually getting ready, working on material for my comedy album that I want to put out. So that's going to be a big one. And also I gotta work on a screenplay. I'm still drawing up ideas for, I have an idea laid out. I started on it. So that's some of the work I'm trying to do and hopefully have it done, if I could, before 2022 is over with. That would be a great accomplishment. It's good when you accomplish your goals. And if you can accomplish them before a certain time period. I'm still trying to get on the 40 under 40 awards while I'm still 36. So, All right, Shawn. Well, let's go on ahead and get on up and get out of here. Please, 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 ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe, be blessed. And we did this show in under 2 hours. So
yeah.
All right. Tune in Sunday. I'll do another live stream. I'm actually going to be on Rumble. Shawn, you're on Rumble now, right?
I am. I've been there for a while.
All right. You have a lot of supporters coming on there?
I have people coming over there now and again. Sometimes I drop a private video over there.
All right, cool. All right. Let's go on and get on up, Shawn.
All right.
See you.
Thank you for having me on the air.
Thank you, and guys. And this has been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel G2786. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Bailey, I have that seasoning coming for you out today. Thank you. Tyree, you a Skins fan? Yeah. All right, guys. Who that?
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Because on the dance floor is where we
Skins got that stupid marching band. Hail to the Commanders. Hail victory. Commanders on the football field. Fight for all DC.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on. Baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor.